But for now, we're going to do the news, and the first order of business is Jeff Hardy last week returned to AEW after 10 months, saving his brother Matt from a beatdown. Now, Jeff was suspended indefinitely after a well-publicised DUI with blood alcohol 3 times the state limit, and it was not his first. Hardy entered a plea of nolo contendere, and he got 38 days in jail for time served, $4,500 in court fees, a 10-year suspension of his driver's license, a court-mandated school or DUI program, and community service. Now, Jeff has since completed a stint in rehab, and Matt recently claimed Jeff is more focused and doing very well. What are your thoughts on Jeff Hardy returning?
Well, I think he should have gotten more than 38 days in jail. It's his 3rd DUI. I mean, I live by, and I think everybody should live by, my motto is, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Jeff Hardy is not going to stop drinking. He may, but he's shown us in the past that he's not going to stop. And he still goes out. He's still drinking. Now, when they arrest him the next time, which may be after he's killed somebody or himself, they said, well, we tried to do the best we can. No, people like that need to be put away for a while. I mean, 38 days in jail, that's like a month. And some guys, I don't know what jail he's in. Jail is not a pleasant place to be, but a month is not enough. See, I've come to the conclusion now that jail is not for punishment. It's for people's protection. We need the general public, like me and you, James, and everybody listening, the general public needs to be protected from people like Jeff. He's a great guy. He's a friendly guy. And when he gets drunk, excuse me, he doesn't want to hurt anybody. He don't want to kill anybody. But if he's out driving a 3,000-pound car and he hits somebody in another car, kills a child, kills some people in the car or pedestrian, well, no matter how good a guy he is, they're still dead. And if the state knew about this, which they do, I think they should have done more. Yeah, I want Jeff to, and I've said this before, I want Jeff to straighten out. I like Jeff, but I also want to be protected myself. And Jeff's not the only one. They need to toughen up laws on drunk driving more than what they got. So that's all I'm going to say, Jeff. Straighten your life out, buddy, because you're only 45. You got a long life to live.
With Jeff physically, just before he was arrested and then suspended by AEW, the last few matches he really seemed to be physically struggling quite a lot, and I wasn't sure that he was ever actually going to come back to wrestling at all, because I think he suffered a really bad concussion at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view when he teamed with Matt against the Young Bucks, and he just seemed to be noticeably moving a lot slower. Do you remember this from a year ago? And I mean, the guy must be in terrible pain.
Well, he could have been drinking too if he was moving slow, because Jeff needs to realize he's not 22 anymore. I mean, those high-flying moves and death-defying moves, yeah, it got him to where he is today, but at a price. So moving slow, and after you get older, you feel it more. When you come off that ladder or whatever he came off on, I mean, that's a hell of a bump for even a young guy. And while I respect his desire to do that, his body can't do it anymore. And it takes one of those moves, then he's paralyzed. I don't know. I mean, watching Jeff Hardy is almost you could almost see him deteriorate right in front of your eyes. And I like Jeff, and he was a great athlete and drew a lot of money. We had him out. I worked with him in TNA quite closely, and he would show up sometimes to the tapings. Fine. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Oh, yeah, fine, man, fine. And 2 hours later, he couldn't even talk. So you didn't have to ask him what he did. You knew. So you just have to. We had him one night. He was supposed to do a run-in a match. We couldn't find him. Have I told this before?
You may have done. I can't remember. Tell me again.
And we looked, and everybody was running around backstage. And I ran out to where his car was, and he was in his car. And the match that he was supposed to be standing by for was in the ring, and actually was going longer than what they needed to go, waiting for him. And I knocked on the window, and he woke up, and I said, "Jeff, you got to go to the ring. You got to go to the ring." And he went in, and he was only like 5 minutes late. But of course, through the beauty of editing, I mean, we made it work, but I don't know. And he left WWE in the same way Kurt Angle left. I think they left with no 90-day protection clause, because, and in Kurt's case, I think, and by his own admission, he was taking 60 pain pills a day. And I looked at him and I went, "That's not possible, Kurt." He said, "Oh yeah, it's possible." He said he would take 10 before he got up in the morning. I went, "What?" I mean, now I can't believe that. But he swears he would take 10 like Vicodins before. I don't know. Is that true? Can you take that many?
I think certain people have been able to build up like truly heroic tolerances and live through the other side. I mean, Shane Douglas says he was taking a fairly similar amount before he managed to kick the habit for good, but he was on OxyContin. I don't know if that even matters or anything, or if it's easier or harder to get off of. I think it's very, very hard to wean yourself off of both of them.
Oh,
but he says he was taking dozens of pills every day as well.
Wow. But anyway, they let him go, and somebody said, "Why would they let?" Oh, it was called no compete clause. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Usually they have a 90-day no compete clause and that's put there for a reason, because they could do an angle with you, a hot angle, and you could just disappear and show up on your competition's show. That's happened before. Mm-hmm. But they waived the 90-day no compete clause and just let him go. And when Kurt Angle came, I remember we had it was New Year's Eve, and I forgot what year, but that's when the show aired live, I think. And that's when we debuted Kurt Angle on TNA. And I don't know about the no compete clause with Jeff Hardy. I think they may have waived that too. I don't know. But what that told me is they want to get rid of this person kind of fast. They don't want anything bad to happen while he was still employed or used by WWE, which makes sense, really.